Good morning, Wham! Say hi. Good morning, Wham.
Good morning, Wham. Hello.
All right. We're going to be learning about the last colony we haven't done yet. All right. Who wants to tell us the last colony is? Ben. Georgia. We're going to be studying Georgia and reading along. Okay? Chapter 39.
Oh, you're recording him.
Chapter 39. 4 and 9 make 13. If you've been counting, you know I've talked about 12 colonies. Can you name them? Cover the next sentence. See if you can. All right, can anyone name them? Here we go, around the room. Now you can film us. All right, go one.
Massachusetts.
One, yep. Mitchell.
New York.
Two.
New Hampshire.
New Hampshire.
Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania.
Virginia.
Virginia. Rhode Island.
New Jersey.
New Jersey.
New York.
Already said. It is one. No, it is one. It's good. Think of another one. Yeah. What? Maryland? Yeah. Okay, we got 8.
Delaware.
Delaware, 9. Ben.
Connecticut.
Connecticut, 10. Mitchell.
North Carolina.
North Carolina, 11.
South Carolina.
12. Okay, good job. No one said Pennsylvania though.
Yeah, I did.
Oh, someone did? Okay.
I
So we
should.
got 12. All right, good job. Here they are. Massachusetts, New Hampshire, Connecticut, Rhode Island, New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Delaware, Maryland, Virginia, North Carolina, and
South Carolina.
South Carolina. All right. Finally, like a tail at the end of a kite, along came the 13th colony. Know what it was named? Here's a clue. It was founded in 1732 when King George II was on the throne of England. That wasn't hard, it was.
Georgia.
All right, Georgia's beginning was noble. Not because of birth or wealth, but because of a noble idea. Unfortunately, the idea didn't work out. Still, it was inspiring. James Oglethorpe, who planned Georgia, that's a crazy name, Oglethorpe. He wanted to solve a terrible problem. People in England who couldn't pay their bills were thrown into debtors' prisons. Once they were in those jails, and they were awful places, they couldn't work or earn money, and so they had no way to pay their debts. If they were lucky, a relative or friend came up with the cash. Otherwise, they just stayed there. Many died in prison. So does that make sense? You owe money, you go to jail until you pay me money.
No.
Why doesn't that make sense, Mitch?
Because then you can't get money to get free.
Right, so you can't go to work while you're in jail, so how can you do it? Well, one, you're right, it's stupid. Their thinking was it scared people to pay it back, right? You don't want to go to jail. Oh, all right, I'll pay it. You know, it scared other people into paying, which it did. The second one is most people who went in debt would usually have a rich uncle or rich mama, rich daddy, rich cousin, who might pay for them so they can get out of jail. That did happen. But still, you're right. It was dumb. It was not very smart. All right, go ahead. We'll read again. Oglethorpe decided to found a colony where debtors could go instead of going to jail. He wanted it to make it a place where people could lead ideal lives. So, he had laws passed for Georgia that made drinking liquor and keeping slaves illegal. He wanted Georgians to live on small farms, and he wanted them to do their own farming. He brought experts from Europe to teach them how. Oglethorpe helped to plan a handsome capital, Savannah, a city with beautiful parks and fine public squares. Has anyone ever been to Savannah? I have, it's gorgeous. Miss Kelly was there recently. Really nice place. Savannah, Georgia. It was a shame his idea didn't work out. Not many debtors wanted to come to the wilds of Georgia. To some, even prison seemed safer. That's a little crazy. I would want to get out of jail, just for me.
I'd be like, take me, I don't want
But America obviously wasn't the best place in the world if you can't even get people in jail. Like, hey, I'll let you out of jail free. Can you just go to America? No, I'll stay in jail. Like, that's weird. But
That's just dumb.
I agree.
Dummies. Go to America.
They soon discovered that, those who came were much like the settlers in the other colonies. A mixture of peoples and religions. Anglican men and women came. German Lutherans came. Catholics came. Jews came. And so did Scotch Presbyterians. They soon discovered that Georgia was full of Indian villages. When the settlers first arrived, they found thousands of Indian mounds. The mounds were sacred sites from the Native American past. If you get into a helicopter and fly near Eaton, Georgia, you can see one of those earth mounds. It is shaped like an eagle with wings that spread out for 120 feet, about the size of 4 average classrooms. The local Indians had bad memories of white people. Back in 1540, the Spanish conquistador Hernando de Soto had marched through Georgia with his army. We did learn about that. De Soto was so cruel and evil that the Indians were still telling stories about him 200 years later. But Oglethorpe was a fine and honorable man. The Indians learned to trust him. They made many peace treaties with him and kept all of them. It was the settlers who gave Oglethorpe problems. They wanted to drink liquor and have slaves. And eventually, they won out. When Oglethorpe tried to force his laws and good ideas on others, it just didn't work. Besides, life in Georgia wasn't easy. Spaniards and pirates gave the settlers a hard time. Pirates roamed along the Georgia coast, capturing ships of all nations. Spain controlled Florida and said Georgia and the Carolinas were also her territories. Because of that, there were constant border fights. When the Spaniards attacked, the Georgians were able to fight them off, luckily for them, because none of the other colonies helped out. It was a while before the colonies thought of uniting or of helping each other. Oglethorpe lost all his money trying to establish Georgia. Finally, he gave up. Georgians wanted to have rice plantations and slaves and the king's government. That's what they got. The king made Georgia into another royal colony in 1752. That made 8 royal colonies: Virginia, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, North Carolina, New York, South Carolina, New Jersey, and Georgia. Each had a royal governor appointed by the king. Rhode Island and Connecticut had charters that allowed them to govern themselves. Their assemblies, congresses, picked their governors. Maryland, Pennsylvania, and Delaware were proprietary colonies. They were owned by individuals, the Calverts and the Penns. All the colonies have assemblies of local leaders who made most of their laws. Later, England would regret the freedom she gave the colonies and try to take some of it back. That would lead to big trouble. That's correct, a war, you're right. Anyone know which war? American Revolution, good.
I said that.
That's a foreshadow. Dun, dun, dun.
I didn't say it loud.
But in the mid-18th century, most Americans were happy to be part of the mighty British Empire. The 13 colonies were like 13 children of a kindly and faraway parent. Each colony seemed to be a tiny nation with its own government, its own habits, and its own religious ways. They were different, one from another, but in some ways they were all a bit like Europe. Each had a measure of European class society. So if you really wanted to be independent, if you wanted to be the equal of anyone, the place to be was on the frontier. There, it was your intelligence and your strength that made you a leader. On the frontier, no one cared if you were Puritan or Baptist. It didn't make a difference if your father was a lord or a pauper. Could you be depended on? Did you tell the truth? Could you shoot straight? Were you brave? That's what mattered on the frontier. The frontier offered something even more important: land. Land meant everything in a society that lived by farming. Owning land made you feel really free. People were arriving in America every day. Much of the land on the East Coast was taken. The frontier, where these newest Americans were going, they were heading to the tree-thick mountains that bordered the coastal plains, and then on, over those mountains. Okay, and who owned the land over the mountains? Or who did it belong to? The natives. And who do you think took the land? The Europeans, yeah, English. All right, say bye to Chloe.
Bye, Chloe. Bye,
Bye.
Bye, video.
I was the cameraman.
Bye, class video.